It makes me feel good to have name brands on top of the line. I don't want anything else.
I could die tomorrow. I'm gonna die wearing Dior.
Hey, what do you do? That's what you choose to do. My stuff is for real. And my stuff, well, I'm just letting you know. Let me say.
How much is one of your hairpieces?
Like 430.
$4.
Yeah.
Times, hey, my calculator.
Times 30 is 12,000 something a month. That's absurd. I need to start wearing one a week.
There was a time when Kim Zolciak seemed to have it all. The dream home, the designer handbags, a handsome husband, and a life drenched in champagne and Bravo fame. To millions watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was the glamorous blonde who turned boldness into a brand. Her laugh was infectious, her comebacks iconic, and her confidence unshakable. She embodied Southern glamour with a modern edge, a woman who appeared to live in her own fairy tale.
I hear a lot of stuff about you, but I don't run around talking about, Big Papa's in foreclosure because that's not my business. That's your man. That's not my business.
I don't talk about your husband being a convict. I don't care if your husband steals cars or not.
Let me tell you something, Kim. That's my show.
You host an entertainment segment on a local news station. You do not have your own show. Okay, then.
But behind the wigs, filters, and flawless selfies was a much darker reality, one filled with financial strain, family conflict, and a desperate struggle to maintain the illusion of perfection. Kim's story is more than just another celebrity downfall. It's a reflection of what happens when real life becomes performance, when the lines between authenticity and image blur so completely that even the person living it forgets where the act ends. For years, Kim invited cameras into her home, showing fans her family, her relationships, her children, and her every move. But as the spotlight grew brighter, the cracks began to show. What started as a rags-to-riches success story slowly turned into a cautionary tale about money, marriage, and identity. Long before she became a Bravo star, Kimberly Marie Zolciak-Biermann was a small-town girl with big ambitions. Born in Pensacola, Florida in 1978 and raised in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, Kim's early life was a world away from private jets and reality TV. Even as a teenager, Kim stood out. She loved the spotlight. Friends recall her being magnetic, funny, and confident, traits that would later define her television persona. She wanted glamour, adventure, and more control over her destiny. Eventually, she packed her dreams and headed to Atlanta, Georgia. There, she mingled with Atlanta's elite, learning the art of networking and presentation. When Bravo came searching for strong, dramatic, glamorous women for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kim's mix of confidence, beauty, and boldness made her an obvious choice. She wasn't just entering a new show, she was stepping into a new identity, one that would bring her fame, fortune, and eventually heartbreak. In 2008, The Real Housewives of Atlanta premiered, and with it, a brand new star was born. Kim Zolciak instantly stood out. She wasn't the polished businesswoman or the political wife. She was unpredictable, outspoken, and wildly entertaining. Her wigs, her humor, and her unapologetic attitude made her a standout from day one.
Kim, tell us who Big Papa is. It's the reunion show. It's the end of the season. What can you tell us? Is he still around?
It's on again, off again. I gotta be honest with you that this show definitely has had an impact on our relationship. Everyone wants to know why I kept him a secret. Number one, he is going through a divorce. He is legally married, which is what everybody wants to know.
Do all of you know Big Papa?
I don't know him like that, but I've met him. But Kim seems to think that he knows me. I don't know how.
Kim's relationship with a mysterious benefactor known only as Big Papa became one of the show's biggest storylines. Viewers were fascinated and scandalized by the man funding her glamorous lifestyle. The storyline made Kim both admired and controversial. She was living large, but questions swirled about where that money really came from. She leaned into the attention. Kim released her single, Tardy for the Party, launched beauty ventures, and became a fan favorite. She was loud, funny, and unfiltered, exactly what reality TV thrived on. Every fight, every laugh, every confession was pure entertainment. But the success came with a cost. The more Kim performed, the harder it became to separate the real woman from her on-screen character. What began as an opportunity to shine slowly became an obligation to maintain the image. Still, she rode the wave. Kim became a household name, a Bravo icon who could command attention just by walking into a room. But behind the designer clothes and champagne, cracks in her carefully curated world were beginning to form. In 2010, Kim met Kroy Biermann, an NFL player for the Atlanta Falcons, at a charity event, and sparks flew instantly. Their chemistry was undeniable, and Bravo cameras captured every moment. Their romance became a feel-good storyline, a contrast to the chaos of housewives drama. A year later, Kim and Kroy were married in an extravagant ceremony aired on Bravo. The event was pure fantasy, lace, diamonds, and perfection. Their love story spawned a successful spin-off, Don't Be Tardy, where fans watched Kim transform into a mother of 6, balancing glam life with family chaos. On screen, everything looked perfect. Their marriage seemed solid, their family happy, and their mansion dazzling. Kim became the queen of her own empire, confident, rich, and in control. But off camera, the cost of maintaining that image was mounting. The couple's lifestyle grew increasingly extravagant. Multiple luxury cars, private chefs, non-stop renovations. Kroy's football income began to fade, and Kim's TV earnings became the family's main support. What had started as a dream love story had quietly turned into a business partnership. While fans saw laughter and love, behind the scenes the couple was juggling bills, brand deals, and emotional exhaustion. The fairy tale image was starting to falter, though no one could yet see how deeply. For years, Kim built her public image around one word: perfection. Perfect hair, perfect body, perfect family, perfect home. Every Instagram post and Bravo confession was another brick in the illusion, but perfection comes with a price. As the 2010s went on, Kim faced growing scrutiny over her appearance and finances. Fans noticed her changing looks: fuller lips, tighter skin, new wigs. Speculation about cosmetic surgery became endless.
I've done my lips. I've been getting Botox since I was very, very young for migraines initially, and now it's the obvious reason. I've had my boobs done. I fixed my hernia and had like a tummy tuck at the same, it's one and the same. I just did Althera.
Oh, the skin tightening.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. I'm like motivated by the fact of the skin tightening. I just did it on like my knees to see. Cool, right? I just did it on my knees. But it's not instant. I do like instant gratification.
Kim admitted to some enhancements but laughed off the rest, always with her trademark confidence. Yet the laughter masked the pressure. Reality TV doesn't allow women to age. It demands they remain frozen in glamour. The industry that once adored Kim now picked apart her every imperfection. Her social media filled with cruel comments, mocking her looks, her family, even her voice. And behind that online noise was a far bigger issue: money. Maintaining a housewife-level life was expensive. When Don't Be Tardy was canceled after 8 seasons, the checks stopped, but the spending didn't. Without a steady show or endorsements, Kim was forced to confront a painful truth. Her fame had financed her lifestyle, and without it, the fantasy couldn't continue. The spotlight that once lifted her now exposed her. By the early 2020s, Kim's empire was collapsing. Reports revealed massive tax debts, unpaid credit cards, and mounting lawsuits. The once envied Biermann mansion in Alpharetta became the center of foreclosure rumors. Kim denied everything, posting upbeat videos, insisting the house was safe and secure. But court filings told another story. Each new headline revealed more unpaid bills and new creditors seeking repayment. Her beauty line faltered, her business deals fell apart, and her luxury cars were reportedly repossessed. The woman who once flaunted wealth on television now faced the humiliation of public financial scrutiny. Gossip sites ran headlines comparing her glamorous photos to her debt totals. The contrast was brutal and viral. Kim tried to maintain composure, preaching positivity, and manifesting abundance. But even fans began losing faith. For a celebrity whose brand relied on the illusion of having it all, the exposure was devastating. By 2023, the numbers were undeniable. Tax debts climbed into the hundreds of thousands. Lenders demanded repayment, and every new filing chipped away at her credibility. The collapse wasn't just financial, it was psychological. For years, Kim equated money with worth, and now that foundation was gone. What remained was the wreckage of a lifestyle that had been lived too publicly, too lavishly, and far beyond its means.
Kim Zolciak has filed for divorce from Kroy Biermann.
TMZ is reporting that Kim is pulling the plug on her marriage after Kroy's financial struggles. Apparently, he owes the IRS over $1.1 million in unpaid taxes, and she's asking for primary physical custody of the kids and joint legal custody. I am so shook right now because if you ever watched them on TV, they were always so in love. So there's got to be something more than the money. There's got to be some unfaithfulness, some lyingness.
The financial crisis soon spilled into Kim's marriage. In 2023, shocking reports confirmed that Kroy Biermann had filed for divorce. Within weeks, Kim responded with her own filing, and a bitter public feud began. Court documents revealed accusations of gambling, reckless spending, and emotional volatility. Kroy alleged Kim's habits had drained their finances. Kim countered with claims of manipulation and control. The couple's once idyllic relationship became tabloid fuel. Their social media, once filled with family moments, turned tense and cryptic. One day they posted selfies of reconciliation, the next, leaked documents showed new arguments in court. Fans were exhausted. The couple who once embodied relationship goals had become a cautionary tale. Kim tried to preserve the happy family image for her children, but the facade kept breaking. What had once been love now looked like survival, two people trapped in a public unraveling. They briefly reconciled, calling off the divorce for the kids, but the peace didn't last. Lawsuits, custody battles, and foreclosure notices piled up. The fairy tale was over, and the ending was playing out for everyone to see. For Kim, losing her marriage meant losing her brand, the very identity she'd spent over a decade building. Instead of retreating, Kim fought back online. She continued posting glamorous photos, motivational quotes, and lavish displays, as if nothing had changed. But the internet noticed. Followers flooded her comments with criticism. "You're living in denial," one wrote. "You're posting wigs while your house is in foreclosure." The backlash was relentless. Kim responded with defiance, insisting she was manifesting abundance and protected by God. One viral live stream showed her sipping wine in her designer kitchen, dismissing financial rumors as lies. But rather than sympathy, the moment fueled more ridicule. Her once adoring fan base fractured. Longtime supporters accused her of hypocrisy. Others mocked her positivity as delusion. Even her children became targets of speculation, as fans dissected every post for clues about the family's state. Kim, who once built her fame on relatability, now looked disconnected from reality. The saddest part? She had built the digital world that ultimately devoured her. Years of constant exposure took their toll. Behind the glamorous filters, Kim looked weary. The fame that once empowered her had become a burden she couldn't shake. Interviews grew defensive. Instead of promoting projects, she explained her actions, her debts, her choices. Former co-stars distanced themselves quietly, and the Bravo spotlight that once adored her had moved on to new faces. Without cameras, Kim was left with silence and reflection. For the first time in years, there were no scripts, no producers, no safety net of editing, just real life. Her identity had become so intertwined with television that she no longer knew where Kim Zolciak ended and her persona began. Fame had promised fulfillment, but delivered exhaustion. In private moments, she faced the truth that every reality star eventually learns. Fame fades, but the emotional scars it leaves don't. Kim Zolciak's story mirrors a familiar pattern in reality TV: meteoric rise, public unraveling, and quiet aftermath. What began as empowerment became exploitation. Reality fame rewards drama, not stability. When Kim was bold and outspoken, she was celebrated. When she struggled, her pain became clickbait. Every argument, every tear, every bad decision was consumed as entertainment. She entered the Real Housewives of Atlanta as a single mother chasing opportunity. She built a multi-million-dollar brand and turned her name into a headline. But when the fame machine stopped spinning, she was left exposed, with no script to hide behind. Kim's story forces us to ask, was the fame worth the cost? The answer lies somewhere between success and sorrow. In the end, the sad reality of Kim Zolciak's life isn't just about debt, divorce, or downfall. It's about the human toll of living for an audience. Kim's life once looked picture perfect: a mansion, a beautiful family, and endless glamour. But beneath that sparkle was a woman under pressure, trying to sustain an illusion built for ratings, not reality. Reality television gave Kim everything she wanted: money, fame, and validation. But it also demanded constant performance. Every success came with a shadow. Every mistake became a meme. When the cameras stopped rolling, Kim faced her hardest role yet, being herself. The applause had faded, the fortune had dwindled, and the only thing left was reflection. Her story doesn't end in scandal, but in silence, the stillness that follows the chaos, where a woman finally confronts the cost of her own creation. Kim Zolciak wanted fame to build her dream life. But in the end, that same fame took it apart, piece by piece. Behind the glamour lies a truth every reality star learns. The show always ends, but the consequences never do.